All right, it is time for another crafty marathon. I am so happy you guys are loving the multiple card videos. They're not going to be all the time, but I'm going to try to do them once a month because I really like sitting down and crafting for a long period of time. So we're going to do that today. So we are going to be doing a lot of fun with Pretty Pink Posh's latest release that she sent me over to have fun with. If you missed last week's video, I did this card, which is so fun. It's the Cake Pop card. I loved it, so be sure to check that out. And I've decided that this is my color palette for my Halloween cards. So we are going to be playing around with this stamp set first for card number 1. This is the Halloween Candy Hearts, and I'll be sure if you click the title of the video, everything that I'm using will show up so that you can see each and everything that is on my craft table. So we are going to play around with the Halloween Candy Hearts, and first we're going to stamp them out and then create a really fun card for card number 1. All right, I have a piece of cardstock here. I also am going to bring my Misty in. I love the idea of doing candy hearts for Halloween. I think that is brilliant. So this is going to be so fun. Now we just have to decide which ones we want to use. So we have such a cute, oh my goodness, such a cute variety. I know I want to do, I think, should I do all of them and make a really big card? That could be super fun. We could tie in some polka dot ones. Let's do that. Let's do 12 candy hearts. Okay, so let's decide which ones we want to do. We need a blank one. And those will be, we'll either do nothing, we will either do stripes, or we'll do the polka dot. So I'm going to leave those to the side. I don't want to do a full color one because I want to bring color in elsewhere. Okay, so let's do the blank. I like the Boo to You, and I'm going to try and move these so that I can get, woo, a bunch on my paper at the same time. I like Eek and Stay Spooky. Okay, and then again, I'm gonna do 3 of the, well, maybe I'll do one that's blank. Let's do that. One that's blank, and then, oh, do I have enough? Hold on. And then 2 more. Maybe I need 1 more. 1, 2, 3. Okay, let's do Spooktacular. Okay, and then I'll do 2 additional ones. Let's stamp this out. Now I want to color with my Copics, so I do want to use an ink that will not smear once I begin coloring. They're an alcohol marker, so I want to make sure that my ink plays nice with the marker. These are so cute. Oh my goodness. The creativity of doing a Halloween stamp set that does conversation hearts. It's just adorable. Okay, let's get a couple of these really pressed down, and then I'm going to double stamp as always. Okay. That looks great. So let me clean these up. Oh, I just had a panic because I thought my video wasn't recording. It is, no worries, you're seeing me. Okay, there we go. And now, you know what I'll do is just grab another little piece for the additional couple that I'm doing. That way I can just start letting this dry to the side. So I'll trim this down. And again, the next 2 are going to be the blank heart outline, but we'll put the lines or polka dots within each one. All right, so we'll do the outline of the heart first, and then I'll move it. Actually, you know what I will do? Whoops, I'm not gonna move it. I'm going to move the paper. So I'll have one kind of be upside down here. Just fine. It's so much easier than moving my stamp. There we go. Makes quick work out of that. And then we can position both at the same time. Oops. so that we can do the insides. Now, hopefully these are easy to line up on the inside. I will test it out. Okay, put that one back. And this one seems like it would be easy enough. And you know what? If I don't do it perfectly, I don't do it perfectly. That's totally fine. Let's give that a try. Reposition. Put that down. I think that's going to work. Okay, so I have my polka dots. How cute. Stripes. Okay. Definitely will need to double stamp these. Ah, that looks so good. Oh, I love that. Okay. In fact, I really am loving the polka dot vibe. That's so cute. Okay, let's see how I do with stamp. Whoops, number 2. I think I just got it with my nail there. Let me get, oh boy, they're both kind of, I should have conditioned them. Okay, let's go quick. That looks great. Oh, I love it. Okay, so clean these up. And I'm going to grab my markers based on the color palette that I showed you earlier. And the color choices will be linked down below for you. Again, just click on the title of the video to see all of my supplies, but I will start coloring these out. Okay, I think I'm still liking the, I need to clean up. I had to do a little bit of cleanup because my blending got a little bit crazy, but that's okay. I think I'm still liking the shaped ones, but time will tell. So now what I need to do is go through and figure out, whoops, wrong way. I'm going to figure out how to cut all of these out. And I have 1 die, I believe. Oh no, I don't. I have 6. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. That was just such a good design choice to give us 6 so that we could do these quickly. 6 at a time, we can do that. All right, I have all of my little pieces all ready to go. And now I'm going to, I'll get all of my dies out of my paper in just a bit, but I want to grab another panel and decide what I want to do here. So let's at least get some of the placement. Well, I want to save a blank one for one of the inner rows because that's where I'm going to do a sentiment. So I want to save one for there. that I'm not covering anything up. So we're gonna do, I just wanna get an idea of where everything's gonna go first. So, Batty for You is cute. I might do, this one is kind of sloppy, so I'm gonna put it down here. Okay, I'm going to take a picture of that placement because I think I like how that looks. I may just switch around these two. Let me do that instead. Okay, so now let's move all of those, and I'm going to grab a panel and trim this to 4 by 5 1/4. And I have some ink here, some lilac ink that I am going to just place and have just some fun doing a little spatter in the background. It's going to be extremely light, but it'll add just something that could be fun without getting all of those icky. You could add something fun back there. And now just using the photo that I had, oh, doesn't that make all the difference? I think that's really fun. I'm going to put all of these back in place. Stay spooky. Getting these just roughly where I want because I want to use some foam squares to pop all of these up and get some really fun dimension. That looks good to me. I'm going to grab a piece of tape and just tape down my panel so that it doesn't shift as I'm working, but I am loving that. Let's get them all placed down. Again, I will use a foam square to make quick work of this and get these popped down. Okay, I got, oops, my phone was sliding down there. I got a little cleanup there, which looks good. So now I am going to think about a card base and a additional sentiment. I do have a little bit more of a gap at the bottom than I do at the top, but I think, I don't know, I'm hesitant to trim it down because I don't really have much to play with on the side, so I'm gonna leave it like that. All right, I'm gonna bring my greetings in. If you missed the unboxing of all of this release, then check out last week's video. I'll link it for you. This is so fun and I love all of the greetings. I think I'm gonna go with the boo here. I think it's not only super cute, but also it's going to not cover up too much. So let's grab a scoreboard because first of all, I want to put this on a lilac colored card base. This is 11 by 4 1/4 and I want this to fold at the top. So I will put this at 5 1/2, my little score mark. Fold and crease down. And then I will grab foam tape for the back of my little conversation hearts. Flip this over and we'll do a few strips here just to attach this to our card base with a tiny bit more dimension. There we go. Move this on over. And oh, I'm so excited to keep crafting with this collection. It's so fun. And I'm loving the color palette. Oh, I should mention that my color palette was inspired by the clay sequins that was released this month. So we'll have to try and see if we can do a shaker in the midst of some of these cards today. Oh my word, how cute. I have to admit, there were probably 3 times while making this card that I was telling myself, you need to start over. You are totally screwing this up. And I almost did. I almost stopped recording like twice and decided, keep going, trust the process. It's gonna be fine. I kept looking at this card thinking, you know your palette, just trust yourself and the process, it's gonna turn out. All right, I'm actually going to put this over here. Let's grab a little, oh gosh, I just need a tiny bit of paper. And what I like to do though sometimes, let me move this back into frame real quick, is I like to take my sentiments and kind of hover over to see what I think. You know what would be cute too? Oh, do I want something bigger? We're really not covering up too much. I kind of like spooky wishes though because, and it's okay if we cover up a little bit because, yeah, I just think it could stand for something more. Or do we do a center sentiment? Ooh, Halloween greetings would be really fun. Boo to you. See, you can't go wrong because there's just so many great things to do. I just think now that the boo is cute, but it might be too small. So I'm gonna go with something a little bit bigger, maybe Halloween greetings or spooky wishes. Let's do spooky wishes. Yeah, let's do spooky wishes. I think that'll be fun. So grab that, grab my stamp positioner really quick, put my piece right in there. Good to go. Pull that down, reposition, and stamp this out. Okay, card number 1 is looking pretty cute. And as you can see, that background is very subtle, but it's adding something. It's almost like your eye doesn't notice it, but it appreciates it. So at least my eye is. All right. Okay, once more. And I'll grab the coordinating die and trim this out so we can place it on our card. All right, I have my sentiment. Oh, her sentiments are my favorite. They are just my favorite. Okay, how cute is that? Now, another thing you could do is you could do this on black with white embossing powder. So cute. I'm going to do it this way and further add some foam tape to get that dimension to make it pop. Right, like that. Should work. Grab my little tool once more, and then let's put some fun sequins on this just to have a little sparkle. It can stand. It's a busy, it's clean and simple but busy, if that makes sense, but some of the decisions I'm making are keeping it clean and simple. I will grab my tweezers just to help here, and I already know that I need one more here. Okay. All right, hopefully you got your spooky brew in your hand right now. And yes, does it cover up some? It does. But it's not taking away from the card. And in fact, you can still see what those others say. I love that. Spooky wishes. Okay, I have this really fun sequins. I'm gonna open this up and see what I think of it with this card. There we go. Something like this. Bring this out. Ooh, that's fun. Let's see what that would look like. Oh yeah, that's fun. It's kind of like a silvery look. Okay, where does this make sense? Let's grab the glue. For me, this makes sense. We're gonna tuck one behind this heart, one of the bigger ones, so that you can still see it. We'll do something like that. 1, 2, and then because I have more area here, we will do 3. Okay, so let's do 1, and again, I'm gonna tuck behind the heart, and that's super fun, and 2, and then let's grab this little guy, turn it over. We'll do 1, again, tucking, 2, oh, I like that a lot, and 3. That's just the shine that it needs without being too noisy. All right, here is card number 1 for our Halloween card marathon. I love it. Again, following in the color palette that I chose for this series. I think this is super fun. Let's continue. Okay, the next thing I want to do is play around with this Cake Pops stencil, and we're gonna have some fun with this. So this is a layering stencil, and let me bring it all the way out. It's a layering stencil with 3 layers. So we have our outline layer for the Cake Pops, then we have our next layer, which is going to be all the little faces and detail, and then we have the little Cake Pop sticks. I think I might need to pick one more color, but I'm staying with that color palette that I started with. But I might grab, actually, I think I'm gonna stick with this. Okay, let's just give it a try. So let's do a panel really quickly. And I'm gonna trim it down later because I want to do all of my ink blending first. And I need to be a little gentle here because, let's see, if I need to put my tape really, really skinny at the top so that I don't mask off any stencil. But that should be just right. Okay, so we're gonna start with the outlines. Oh, so cute. Okay, let me get that all situated. And oh boy, do we have a lot of masking to do in order to keep our colors nice and in their spot. So I'm trying to remember which ones are which. We have some little green Frankensteins. Let's just start there. So I'm going to start with my sea glass, and let me get some mask tape. And what I'm going to do is simply mask the areas that I don't want to have colored. So in fact, yes, we'll start with the little Frankenstein guy. So I'm just going to use this mint tape that I have. Let's move all of our things this way. I'll use a mint tape and just cover up any of those areas. And then I'm going to come in with a little blender brush. And I want to keep this pretty light. I want a nice light background. So I'm going to go through first, and we're going to do sea glass on all of the little Frankensteins. And I can even do this little guy, even though I'm pretty sure this one on the end is going to get chopped off, but I want to make sure I do everything so that I have the options. Okay, that looks good. I'll go through each of the colors, moving around my mask so that I don't have other pieces of my stencil colored in. In between colors, I'm also going to wipe down my stencil because, as you can see, there's some color around the opening, and if I go to put purple down or something like that and there's still color there, it could drag it into the purple color. So I want to make sure I have a nice clean stencil between colors. Okay, so there is the first layer. This is a little bit of a labor of love. I'm not gonna lie. There is a lot of work going on here. And yes, I'm also switching out my tape between colors as well, just because that ink can stay wet and then drag. Oh, that's cute. Can drag into other places. I'm loving this color palette. I think that's so cute. All right, I will clean off my stencils in just a bit, but for now, let me move that. Let's go to our second layer. And I'm just going to line that up where it goes. That looks good there, I think. And I am going to use, yes, that looks good. I'm going to use a couple different colors here. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use this. I grabbed Pebble instead of Dove. I think that was a better choice. A little bit of a lighter gray. I'm going to do that for all of the faces. I'm going to do it for everything except for, I think, the little stems. So I just need to mask the stems off in this situation, because the stems I'll come back and do with my mint. Yeah. Oops, that got a little long. And this one. Okay, everything else is going to be with this Pebble, and I'm going to do a light shade. Oops, whoa, please don't ruin it, Bethany. I'm going to do a light shade here on the hair, but then I'll go a little heavier handed for the face and the bolts. And then of course the kitty. I know it's gonna be tone on tone for the kitty, but I'll just bump up the shading so that we can see it. All right, there we go. Hopefully these little sticks turned out how I wanted them to. By far the easiest part of the layering stencil. Oh my gosh, that's so sweet. I love that. Okay, that's the last one. I'm gonna get everything cleaned up and then we will finish up this card. We are going to have a really fun, almost louder background, and then we're gonna keep it simple with a fun sentiment. All right, I'm going to trim down my panel, and what I'm going to do is simply take 1/8 of an inch off each side just to clean up those edges. And then my final dimensions will be 4 by 5 1/4. So we have our 4 by 5 1/4, which is there. Okay, and there is our final panel. That is so cute. I am loving that. Oh, we are missing a little face there. Hold on. Oh, and the stem. Hold on. Stencil 2 coming for you. Hold on. We got it right here. What was I thinking? I'll do real quick. Bloop. And let me fill that one in. I am not even going to, see if I can just very quickly, I'm gonna need the ink, darn it. Thought I'd have some residual ink just when I got it all cleaned up. I'm gonna be really careful so I don't have to do all my masking. I think it's gonna need a little bit more. Okay, don't mess this up, Bethany. You're almost done, girl. And then we've got this little guy. Should grab my tiny little blender brushes, but you know what? Voila, we fixed it. Okay, so I did a few things here. Hold on, I need that little dot. I did cut out that Happy Halloween, but it's a little long for a vertical card. Keep that there, Bethany. So I grabbed the Trick or Treat dies. I also thought that the mint behind was pretty, but it didn't provide enough oomph. So I decided to do the Trick or Treat dies, which are a little bit more narrow. And then I did a black for my shadow layer to give it the contrast that it needs. So I'm gonna clean up all of that, move this out of the way. And then what I want to do is say goodbye to this one, and I want to do the trick. Oh yeah, that's going to be cute. Trick or Treat. Let me get these all glued down real quick. So I'm going to grab my tweezers, which will be very helpful here. Clean one of these up. Got my glue. Okay, the glue on the back. I'm going to place this right on down. Okay. Where it needs to go. Oh, I like that on the black. I think that's going to be really nice. And then before I lose it, I'm gonna just do a tiny, ever so small dot there, so I don't lose this little guy. I've been trying to lose it for 5 minutes now. There we go. Okay, so there's our trick. And let me finish up the last 2 words. Okay, that looks so good. And will give us an idea of our card now. And then I'm gonna further bump that up because I think that will be so pretty. Trick or Treat. Oh, I love it. And you know, it really isn't covering up too much. I think this card can stand for that sentiment. Okay, keeping the sentiment super simple because our background took the show for this card. And I'll do a mint card base for this card. I think that will look super nice. 11 by 4 1/4, and then scoring it 5 1/2. Fold that down. And as always, let's put some foam tape on the back of our panel. This card is pretty flat so far in design, so we're gonna give it a little boost with some foam tape. There we go. Using my little favorite bent weeding tool to bring up the liners. It's such a happy accident that that tool got bent because it makes for the perfect little liner picker-upper. And then I am going to put some foam squares. I'm going to grab some smaller ones. I'm going to put some foam squares on the back of these pieces. Actually, let's do a mix. Let's mix and match some big and small. We can do some big and we'll do a couple small just to help out with the edges there. You don't want these little pieces to dip down on your cards, so I do my best to, actually let's not put that down quite yet. I'm going to let these float for just a moment. That way I can decide my placement in just a minute. All right, such a little hodgepodge on the back there, but that made the world of difference. You could also do trick or treat if you wanted to showcase a little bit more. Oh, that's cute as well. I really am liking that center sentiment though. I think that's really cute. So we'll do trick or treat, bring that up just a little bit. Then we'll bring some of that sequins in again. That was so fun. I'm loving that. Grab these little liners off the back. It's also super helpful again to bring in some tweezers just to help remove your hands from the situation. It helps you to visually see your card and align things better. Let's do this one too. Or treat. Love that. Very cute. Let's get some of that sequins. In fact, I am going to place these in their own container so that they're easier to play around with. Let's do, I think I'm going to do little duos. I'm going to do 3 little duos. 1, 2, 1, 2, and let's see, 1, 2 down here. Okay, I think that'll be cute. And we'll do a medium and small on each one. These are really quiet, but they are so visually pleasing. They are not distracting from that background. I'm loving this card. This is super cute. 1, 2, and then finally our final duo right at the bottom. How cute. All right, card number 2, all done. Sticking with our fun color palette, bring in the card that we did last week as well. Loving this. This collection is looking so cute together. Loving it so far. All right, let's move on to our next card. Okay, we're gonna grab this pumpkin fringe die set. How cute is this? I want to make a pumpkin shaped card. So what I'm going to do first is I'm gonna grab the biggest die and we're gonna do the card base. I'm gonna grab a 110-pound piece of cardstock. And what I wanna do here, let's trim this down a little bit because we're not gonna need all of that. Save that piece for another project. What I want to do is score this first. So I'm gonna go somewhere in the middle here. Let's just do 4. It doesn't have to be perfect because we're just creating a little template here. And if you can hear construction noise in the back, we are getting a new road today, so it's gonna be a little noisy. Okay, what I want here, I wonder if, is this the same? Do these all match up? I want to create a pumpkin shaped card, but what I want to do is I don't want this fringe on my card base. I'm wondering if I can flip it this way, have this piece go off. Now this is, again, this is where our little card hinge is, right? So we don't want to cut that off. We don't want to put this in the middle or it'll cut that off and we want to do the card. You're supposed to do it this way. This would be up and down, but I think these look to be mirror images of one another. So I'm going to flip it this way so that we don't get the fringe on our card base. And I'm going to line it up just like that. That looks good to me. Tape this down and I'm going to cut this out to create the card base. All right, so I did my card base. Okay. And then what I did is I also did another piece because I want to see if these line up well. Actually, it's going to go this way. Well, okay, they are. They're mirror images of one another, which is amazing because then you can use this die, just flip it this way so that you don't get the fringe, because you don't want that fringe here. It'll actually cut both pieces or indent both pieces, and you don't want that for your card. All right, so we have our first base as well, or our first layer, and I'm going to use that same fun Halloween color palette, and I'm going to cut out all of these pieces. We'll do here, let's do mint next, and then we'll do, well, let's grab our pieces. Actually, it'll help if we can just see our palette, which order we want to go in. Okay, so we could do, I want to do mint far away because I want to use it again for the stem. So let's do this. Yeah, I like that. So mint for this next piece, which I'm going to need probably a bigger piece, but actually it doesn't matter because I'm going to cover that up anyway. Correct? Yes, correct. And honestly, I only have one more sheet of this color, so I want to preserve as much as I can. Normally you'd cut out the whole thing, but I'm just going to cut out as much as I need, which is that fringe detail. I am going to have white fringe on the bottom. I think that'll be cute. Should I do the white fringe on the bottom? Yeah, I'm going to do that. Okay, let's run this through. I did that the wrong way. Looks like I'm cutting into that piece after all. What am I doing? I'm not even thinking today. Oh no, I did do it right. Right? Did I do that correct? I did. Okay, no worries. No worries. Okay, that's the next piece. Then we'll do the purple, I said, right? Which I do have a smaller purple piece that I can use. So use that. And there's our next layer. And then we'll do the final top layer, which is the orange. And we'll also do that stem. Right. Loving this palette. It's so cute. Just like this. And then we have our stem. All right, now we're going to go ahead and kind of fluff these edges just a little bit to give some dimension to this piece. And we'll lay each of the layers down. And I think I'm going to use a simple tape runner here. You can use whatever you wish. And I will say that liquid glue is going to give you more time to wiggle things into position. So if you are nervous about getting this lined up just right the first time, I would use some liquid glue to give yourself some grace. But I think I can get this lined up. There we go. And then don't put any adhesive down on your fringe because you want that to kind of be free flowing. And then I had my full sheet here. So now our card is taking on the full pumpkin shape. All right, I'm going to continue with each one. Again, kind of just fluffing these just slightly. Okay, nothing too dramatic, but you can go even more or even less depending on the look you want. Let's remember here that we don't have a full shape. Okay, there we go, getting our little fringe. And the next layer. And again, no adhesive on the fringe portion. There we go. Oh, that looks so cute. Is it straight? I don't know. It's kind of looking like it's not straight. How would that have gotten... Oh, did I just do it a little bit? Hold on. I can fix that. It's like my eye is definitely playing tricks on me. It's not working. Okay, and then it might be best to do liquid glue for this top one because of the small amount of space we have. Well, I might be able to get little, oh, you know what? I'm gonna have to. I think my tape is running out. Okay, just in time. All right, how a darling is that little cutie. Okay, now let's grab our stem, place it right on the back there. Love it. And let's do our sentiment. I have these cute sentiments, and I think what I'm going to do is maybe Hocus Pocus, and I want to add a spider and a ghost as well. I think that will be cute. So let's do that. I have a lot of little scrap pieces of cardstock that I can use. So I'm going to do Hocus Pocus, the ghost, and the spider. I am not a spider lover, but that's the most darling spider I have ever seen. Give myself some more room here to work. And I will do a black ink. I do think I will do just a little bit of coloring, so I'm going to use my Memento ink so that it's a good ink for alcohol markers. Definitely going to add some cheeks to that little ghost and spider. Whoops. There we go. Okay, super cute. I'll clean off my stamps in just a moment. And let's do R30 to bring some cheeks in. So sweet. And I'm going to do C1 and C3 for my little spider, I think. I think that'll be cute. I'll just make him a little gray spider. Okay, there's C1. I'll add a tad bit of shadow with the C3 and then blend out with that C1 again. Okay, super cute, super simple. And let's trim these out with our cutting dies. Once this dries as well, I will bring that R30 back in and add some cute little cheeks to that spider. Tiny, tiny ones though. All right, coordinating dies. And there are our little pieces. Oh, they're so cute. These are gonna be so sweet on that card. Okay, now I'll clean off my dies in a minute. Let's add tiny, tiny cheeks. Oh, they're ever so tiny. You probably can't even see them, but you'll see them in a minute when I hold this card up. But let's lay this down like so it doesn't move, and think about placement. I'm gonna do bottom, well, more right side down here. I'm gonna bring the white up top because I want to keep it away from down here where we have white, and then I'll bring the gray down. Those are cute. Okay, let's put the Hocus Pocus down first, and I'll do some little mini squares there. I'll do this. Okay. And try to kind of fluff the remaining surrounding area there to keep that dimension up. I have a little foam adhesive on the back of my ghost. I'm just going to tuck the ghost like that. Actually, I want the ghost to maybe be a little bit more like that. Okay, and then the spider, I think I will have layer on top a little bit more. Maybe something, oh no, let's bring the spider right on down here. That's cute. Now, I do have a little bit of baker's twine that I think will be really cute. I'm gonna cut off more than I need, and then I'll trim this down, but I think this could really pull the card together. by doing a little bow. Okay, I love that. And I'm going to trim this down like so. And I might even, just to take control of the situation a little bit, I might even just put a dab of glue just to kind of encourage that to flow out and not down towards the sentiment of the card. Just a little dab of glue. I think that's super cute. All right, there is our third card. Whoops, I read that. I gotta hold that a little bit longer. But gosh darn, that is so cute. I am loving that. All right, let's continue and keep playing with this beautiful Halloween collection. All right, we gotta play with this one. It's just too cute. So we are going to play with the Spiderweb cover plate. I think I'm gonna bring in some purple for my background here. And I just wanna make this really cute and colorful. And as much as I don't like spiders, we're gonna bring that spider stamp back because that spider is just adorable. So the first thing that I want to do is I'm going to take this cover plate and I am going to run it through with a piece of white. And I'll do this on my Platinum 6 because it has a much bigger cutting field. And I'll be right back. Voila, holy cuteness, that is so adorable. And I'm thinking it would be fun on a, oh my gosh, I love that, on a purple backdrop. Would that be cute? Or even a light gray and bring in our color elsewhere? What if we did this on a light gray backdrop and then bring the color in a different way? Well, I don't think I'm ready to figure out what I want to do as the background color, so I'm going to focus on what I do know. And what I do know is I want to do the spiders again. And I think I also want to play around with this trick or treat or spooky. Yeah, we have the room for the trick or treat. I think I want to do the trick or treat. So trick or treat, here's those stamps from the last one. I'm going to keep the spiders. So I'll remove the other ones. But I want to do trick or treat plus a variety of spiders. I think that will be adorable. I'm going to grab some cardstock here. Just like that. We'll add our trick or treat. And we'll add our spider. Let's do a total of maybe 5 spiders. We can, and I don't know that I'll use all of them, but I want to be able to have the option of using a variety. So let's do that. Press that down. Cute. Adorable. Okay, I'm just going to clean off the big stamp and I will stamp 4 additional spiders. Okay, I have my colors all picked out. I'm going to go ahead and get this all colored. And again, all of the marker selection choices are going to be down below. That is where I'm going to take that card. I'm going to bring in maybe just a darker pink for the cheeks on that cutie? Super cute. Okay, now I want to trim. Ooh, hopefully I didn't get too close there. Time will tell, but I think we'll be okay. I'm going to trim all of these apart. And because I only have one spider die, I'm going to trim all these apart so that they can go through one at a time. Aren't they cute? I think I'll probably, well, you never know. I was going to say, I think I'll only use 3, but time will tell. Okay. All right, I have those taped down and I will send these through to cut these out, but also continue cutting out all of the spiders. All right, I have all of my little spiders and I have my trick or treat. Now, I feel like it's going to be easier for me to make some design choices. I'm almost wondering if I want to do a white on white and then do maybe a shaker with some sparkly. I think that could be super pretty. So I am thinking that this would be gorgeous behind. Wouldn't that be super pretty? Or I have this star fill, which would be pretty. And if I did the star fill, I could put it maybe with the purple backdrop. Let's just look. I feel like I need to see what that would look like. So I'm just going to, ooh, that's pretty. I'm just going to, oh, see, that would be really pretty. Okay, I think that's what I'm going to do. But I'm going to give myself the option just to visually see it on the white. Oh, that's super pretty as well. I kind of want to do it on the white. I know you might be screaming at me to do it on the purple. Sorry, let's go out a little bit. I need more room to work here. But either way, it's going to look so pretty. I just think that that would be nice and clean and simple. And then the pop of the black or dark gray spiders is going to be so pretty. So I'm going to do it on the white, but you make that judgment call for your card. It's totally fine. We all have different styles we want to do, right? I'm going to grab an acetate sheet and trim this down to an A2 size, which is 4 1/4. I might just do a tad smaller, like a 1/16 of an inch smaller by 5 1/2. So a tad smaller, just so my acetate doesn't peek out the sides there. And then with some liquid glue, I'm going to, here's my acetate sheet, it's a little hard to see. I'm going to add liquid glue certainly around the perimeter of my panel, but then also on just some of the cobweb pieces, or not cobweb, well, spiderweb cobweb, but around the spiderweb pieces as well, because I want to make sure it's nice and adhered. So just a few intermingled here, maybe even at these little cross points, just so these lay down nice to that acetate. I don't have any pieces coming up or anything like that. I've said in a few videos now that my glue is ready to be refilled, and I am just so stubborn and have not done it. Okay, let's do a little bit more here. Okay, with that acetate sheet, I'm just putting it down on the back side of my die cut to create my shaker. Wiggle that into position. There we go. And then I can see where my glue is to dab it down. Turn it around. One little spot there, so clean that up. Okay, so now I have a little window. Can you see? Kind of, there we go. A little reflection there. Now I'm going to take some skinny foam tape and go around the perimeter here. All right, so I'm going to make sure that I close it at each corner so that it doesn't pop out. I don't want any of the fill to fall out. I could get that a little closer. Sometimes I have to turn it so I can really see. There we go. All right, so I have my tape all the way around the perimeter here. I'm going to dump this right inside and then add some more. That's so pretty. Some more, not getting it too terribly full though, because I want it to freely shake around. These are very thin little stars though, so it should be just fine. And then I'll bring in my little score pal here so that I can line up my panel right behind it. Pull up all of these liners first. All right. Then my panel that I've trimmed down, I'm just going to nudge that in the corner as well and place that down. Okay, and then, right choice for me. For me, the white on white is the right choice. I love that. So pretty. Oh, love it. Okay, now I like that the color is going to be here, and I love that those stars are kind of taking on that purple pink feel. That's really pretty. And now we can have fun with getting our little spiders in here. All right, so I want to do I want to kind of treat these like I do my sequins and have a little trio up here and then maybe a duo down below. I think that will be so cute. And I like the idea of flipping it this way and having most of the web up there so that down here I can not distract with the sentiment and not cover up too much of that pretty detail. And I don't know that I want to do a foam adhesive, do I? Do I want this to be bumped up a little bit? Oh, that could be cute. Yeah, we could do that. Okay. Well, I know for certain that I want this here, so I'm going to place that down. And I'll get the larger squares as well to make quick work out of placing this sentiment down. Place this down here. So sweet. And I like this little cutie here. And gosh, I know we're supposed to do things in 5s, but okay, I think I like that. That'll be fun. So I'm gonna do a couple of them. Let me test one with a foam square and see if I like that. I know this one's gonna go here. Oh, they're cute popped up. Okay, let's do that. Or I'm gonna do a few of them popped up and then the last two, I'm gonna have them be on the background more because I like how they can kind of nestle beneath the sentiment a little bit. Gives it a little bit more dimension. So I'm gonna put, actually I'll just add it to the base here, right there. Put my little spider right on down. And then this one can go right on the acetate. There's a nice flat spot available. And place that down. Cute. Okay, let's pop this on a card base real quick, and there's our little shaker. Because this is a full panel card and I don't have any margin, I'm going to use a white card base. That way I'm not wasting any colored cardstock. You certainly can if you want, but this fills the whole panel, so I'm going to just put it on white. Okay, I've got some glue there. Just plop that right on down. And there we go. All right, and there is our final 4th card. So cute. Let's get an idea for this collection so far. We have our conversation hearts, and then we have our pumpkin fringe card. We did our cute stencils. Oh gosh, these are so cute. And then of course, this was from the other video that I did. I'm just loving these, but you know what? I'm gonna cheat and do one more. I've just gotta make one more card. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and finish up with this potion bottle shaker set. I think this is gonna be so cute. And I need to just decide which one I want to do. I think I'm going to have fun with this one. I kind of like the coffin look. I think that's really fun for Halloween vibe. So let's go ahead and grab the pieces for that. I'm going to use this one. And there's a little wrap you can use as well. I'm not gonna put a wrap on mine because I wanna see all the sequins, and I need the little topper as well. Okay, I also think I will use the bat. That would be fun. We haven't done any bats yet. So let's bring that out as well. Now for a color, I think I will do a purple one. I think a purple bottle would be adorable. I have a little piece here that I can cut out, and I'm going to use this inside piece as well so that I can cut out a window for the shaker. If you just wanted the shape of the bottle, you can just cut out this outer edge. But again, we're going to do a shaker just like that. Okay, sending that right on through. Super cute. And again, everything that I'm using, I'm going to link below for you. So if you want to get started on some fun Halloween cards, you certainly can. Okay, I love this. Now, you can cut out multiple of these if you would like. I'm also going to take this outline and I'm going to use it to cut out my acetate. But you can do this multiple times to build it up. I've done that in several videos, but I'm going to, since it's such a simple shape, I'm going to use foam tape to build up my walls for this particular card. And again, I will send this through with some acetate. It's hard to see there. It's clear. And my acetate sheet is right here. I gotta pop it out. There we go. Okay, so there is my acetate sheet that I'm going to put right behind this piece. And while we're here, let's go ahead and place this down. Glue these together, just like last time, to create our window. And I'm going to give that a moment because it takes a little bit of time to dry. So I'm going to place a little acrylic block there just to get that going. And then for this piece, I'm going to cut this out of, well, I'm not sure yet, so I'm going to go with what I do know. I know I do want a black, a orange, and a turquoise bat. And I think I can even get a bat out of this Halloween layer, so I'm going to do that just to utilize that color. As I said earlier, I am running out. So we'll do that one. Sometimes if you flick it, oh, not today. It doesn't want to play. Grabbing all of my little scrap pieces from earlier cards to use every last little bit. For the back of my shaker, I'm going to have it be purple. So this time I will take that die and not place the inner layer inside. I also did grab my scalloped stitch die to do a fun background on my card. I used that for my cake pop card and it turned out so pretty by giving some fun background that I'm going to do that again. Okay, so this will be the back side of my potion bottle. And now we can start assembling what's left. So what we'll do here is build this piece up with that foam tape again. Grab some leftover pieces from other projects and just place that all the way around. Again, not leaving any openings because we don't want our sequins to fall out. I'm also just going to build this area up here so it lays down equally on my card. And last little bit, creating that little gate. I'm trying to decide if I want to use those stars again. They are so fun. Or if I want to bring that other sequins back in that I used earlier. So we have both options. It's kind of fun to play around with how each would look. But I think I'm gonna do the star one again. That's just so pretty. Then we can, last time we did white on white, now we can do that purple, which will be super fun. Okay, now what's helpful here is putting a little bit of tape down just so this doesn't move. Sometimes when you start peeling these away, the cardstock wants to start curling a little bit, and so it's nice to have it taped down if you can. This one, there's barely any room to tape it down, but we'll get it done. Okay, now I'm going to add the fill, not too much because we want it to be able to move freely. Don't stick to the edges if you can. Okay, that should be good. And then lining this piece up to close. Okay, I think I did a pretty decent job at that. And I can bring this up. Ah, how cute. It's so subtle, but it's so fun. It's the prettiest potion bottle I've ever seen. Okay, so here is where we're at so far. And I know I would like to add that baker's twine once more to my bottle, but I'm also going to add my little stopper. And I just cut that out of a gray. Keep it nice and simple. All right, let's trim down this panel. I think I could stand for this to be smaller. In fact, I might even, let's see here. I'm going to take 1/8, or should I do 1/4 off each side? I could probably do 1/4 off each side because our design is pretty small. So it'll help kind of frame it a little bit more. Okay, so this should be, yeah, see how the scale looks so much better there? This is going to be, it should be 3 3/4 by 5, but let me double check. It is, yeah, 3 3/4 by 5. See how that helps just to contain the design a little bit more without it looking like we need to add more to the card. It's a good way to keep it clean and simple. You just kind of tighten it up a little bit. Okay, now I want to bring in these cute stamps again. And I wish I would have saved that Hocus Pocus one because that just, oh gosh, that's just perfect for this card. And why wouldn't I just borrow that and do a different one over here? Spooky vibes, spooky wishes. Have we done spooky wishes yet? I think we have. Or even trick or treat. Oh, let's do the trick or treat. That'd be cute. I also really liked the boo or the eek, but you know what? We've done it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to grab this one. Not that you can't have the same sentiment on multiple cards. That's not what I'm saying. But for this collection, I want to do a variety here. Oh, that's cute. I do feel like we need the band though. The band just needs to happen. Don't you think? Let's do that out of the teal color. Yeah, that'll be adorable. Trim that out. I was not wanting to originally because I didn't want to distract from seeing that sequins, but you're going to see it. It'll be just fine. We'll do that little band and then our little Hocus Pocus. All right, first and foremost, let's finish up this card. I don't like that it's unfinished now. If we're going to borrow from it, we need to fix it, right? So I think we have enough to play here. Should be just barely enough to make that work. One and two and three and four. Oh my gosh, I think I like that better on that card. Happy accident, trick or treat. So cute. All right, now we can officially finish this card. And I'm gonna plop this on a white card base because that is just how I roll. There we go. Again, we're gonna have a thicker margin on this card because, let's make that a little straighter. I cropped that quite a bit. I took a 1/4 inch off each edge just to draw the eye in to support this better. Oh, I love it. It's so cute. All right, let's get this little piece down. And you know what I'm going to do is, because I just have contact area on the sides, I'm just going to do that because the acetate falls a little bit lower. So we'll just attach it to these edges. Okay, adorable. And you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to attach my Hocus Pocus right there. Get that little pop of blue, but the sentiment, it just looks cute right there. Okay, now I do have my little bats, and what I want to do is I'm going to kind of bring their wings out a little bit so they can be super dimensional on this card. And we'll have them, I'm not convinced I'm going to use the color ones. I might cut a bunch of little black bats. Oh, but the color could be cute. Oh, and let's not forget the baker's twine. I think I'm going to do black. We'll do little black bats. Okay, I thought it would be cute to have the bats kind of cascading. Whoops, sorry, this one's going to take a minute because it's on acetate. I like the idea of the bats cascading down the card or up the card, however you want to look at it. I thought that would be super cute. So I bent their wings up in order to make them look very fun and dimensional. And in fact, we can also tilt them a bit, flying a bit. Okay, I like that. Using just my little, okay, hold on, I'm not liking this. I'm liking not all of them being tilted. There, okay, much better. Isn't that cute? Okay, I'm not adding anything more. This card does not need anything more. It is the perfect little finale to this series. And again, it's a little shaker card, so that element is so fun as well. All right, here are my Halloween cards. I love how these turned out. I think they're so fun. So many fun little elements to each of these cards. This collection is just gorgeous. I have loved creating with it, so I hope you've enjoyed watching these come together. Again, if you missed this one, be sure to rewind to next week and it'll be right there waiting for you. Everything that I used to bring these cards together will be linked down below, and I'll see you all in the next video. Let me know which was your favorite.